What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. So we're at the stage now, guys, where the motor was pulled. If you did see in the last, I think, 2 episodes, I just did 1 coat of degreaser and then came back with the pressure washer. I'm gonna do another coat of degreaser here to try to get some of that gunk off of the subframe there, and keep going. You know, I think once we get the degreaser going and we start brushing off a lot of this gunk, we're gonna go ahead and pressure wash again. And I am using let's see, I want to say it's Goots degreaser. You can find it in my Amazon storefront. I pretty much post everything that I'm using on this build, on this rebuild, on this whatever you want to call it. You know, if you want to call it a rebuild or a restoration. I'm not taking every single bolt out, of course, to do a full-blown restoration, but I am doing majority of it. Let some of this degreaser sit a little bit. Try to get this as clean as possible. And a lot of this is super gunky, man. Shout out to Ava for giving me a hand, which is my daughter. But as you can see here, we're removing some of this gunk. That's super old, nasty gunk. All right, now we're gonna hit it with the pressure washer here. See how much of this we can actually get off. Let's try to get a good bit of that gunk separated. Not too worried about the wiring, of course. All that can actually get wet once you're about to do your installs, and of course you want to make sure everything's nice and clear and clean and dry. Get this out of wall here a bit. Now I will have to remove a good bit of this rust. If you can see, I got rust here. Got rust here, and of course this massive hole. Not sure why the previous owner would make a hole there. I get it, you had the B16 there, just smash that firewall in. There's no need to cut this up, so I'm gonna have to holler at one of my friends out here that's a welder, and we're gonna weld this piece in shut. Just more additional surprises when you buy a car off Facebook Market. You know, I guess it comes with the territory. You don't know what you get until it's actually in your hands. But it was a gamble. You know, I can't blame the seller. This is more of a gamble on my end. Bought it for the B16, which luckily is pretty clean, pretty solid. No major issues on it. All this gunk off of here. There's nothing better than working on a nice, clean car. Alright, let's go ahead and get that pressure washer going. Get that real nice, little heavy amount of degreaser. On this next clip, you'll see me start attacking all of the rust areas in the engine bay, starting with that subframe, and then of course I'll attack the hole on the frame itself so that we could go ahead and get started with the repairs. Step, you'll see me start curing the rust with a rust prevention liquid that I have. Basically anywhere that I have bare metal, I will spread this liquid, this rust prevention, and it kind of seizes the current rust and turns it black, and it makes it a little easier also to grind off, sand off, whatever, for you to have your good guide before you start priming. This will have to do. Get I just grinded all that surface rust off. Just going to do the protective layer here. And meeting up with Benji today so that I can get some scrap metal. It's about a 3.5 inch length hole and about 2 inch wide. What I plan on doing is I'm probably gonna cut out this little area that's all messed up here, bang this in a good bit, and notch it to where it goes in. Being that the B16, any B series really into a CRX, you gotta notch this area in for the alternator to fit properly. All right. We're gonna let this dry overnight, wipe it tomorrow, and I'll just spray it black since I'm not too worried about this area here. It should be good. And basically what I use here, guys, is it's a rust dissolvent gel. Stuff works great, man. Get that in there as well. Any little holes that may have a little bit of rust in there. And I'm sure this stuff started rusting because of this notch here, man. This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, man. But again, I don't know what goes on in some people's minds, man. Like, instead of banging it in, they decide to cut it and just leave it wide open, which is the wrong thing to do. But it is what it is. We're gonna clean this up as best as possible, or I should say I will clean this up as best as possible. And from that point, we'll go ahead and get some soap, some water, scuff this whole engine bay down. Welcome back, everybody. So we're back on the CRX. We're gonna go ahead and start prepping the engine to go ahead and get pressure washed and basically clean it up before the install back into the engine bay. Currently, we have a couple of skunk parts that did arrive. Caught a couple of the Black Friday events. Yeah, that's basically where we're at. You know, we're gonna keep this thing going, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll have the motor back in the engine bay, painted bay, and starting and running so that we can go ahead and reassemble. all new hardware. If you guys have been keeping up, with the build, you know I got the Resto tuner hardware for the manifold and header. Welcome back guys. I want to give a big shout out to CRX Seth, providing me with some nice new rear tail light stickers. We got the VTEC, we have the CRX sticker, and of course big shout out to CRX Seth. Definitely excited to get my tail lights on. First I gotta paint that back bumper before I do that though. But good to have these already on hand while the build progresses. Today's video I'm basically gonna focus, as you can see I had already started on the engine bay, and at this moment I'm gonna go ahead and jack the car up. We're gonna take the tires off, and I'm gonna go ahead and loosen up suspension, drop that down a bit, jack it up a little bit, have it nice and level, cover everything up, scuff up my engine bay. Probably I may scuff it up in certain areas, just a tad bit more, and hopefully by this weekend, by Sunday, I will have the engine bay shot, and then we'll go back to focusing on the actual B16, on getting it reinstalled. I haven't really decided on what color I want the valve cover to be, right? So we're going with Y49 full body, but I'm undecided on the actual valve cover color. I don't know if I should go with a color that's gonna pop or stick to like an OEM just black. If you guys could leave in the comments what color you guys suggest I should go with, I'd love to hear it. You know, send me some ideas. But for the most part, I'll give you guys a little preview of the motor. So here we are with our motor after my daughter gave me a hand scrubbing it down. Y49, the curse. Shooting at home, but everything is shut off. AC's off, gas off, everything's off. I've already waxed and greased the engine bay, and now I'm just gonna tack it off real quick. I am cutting corners here. I didn't prime the entire engine bay. I primed certain areas. The goal here for me was to just get it yellow, not too worried if it's a tone or two off. I just want it yellow. Now the wheel well and all this is gonna go black, so I'm not too worried about that right now. I'm probably gonna undercoat that with like a Line-X to really protect. I should have recorded the RSX I did the other day. You guys have seen it on the channel before. The one that I repaired the roof on, I did a paint correction on it. I didn't paint it, but he had the car painted locally here in Orlando, and really dry outcome. So, you know, he helped me pull the motor out of the CRX. So it's only right that I help him bring that shine out on that car, in which we did. All right, we got our gun set, mask. Usually I'll wet this floor, but again, I'm not too worried about it right now. Matter of fact, I should. Pause. All right, we got our bucket of water here. Gonna wet this floor a bit. That looks good. Alright guys, so basically what you'll see me do here from time to time, every time I'm about to shoot a vehicle, I guess you could say, I like to shoot on paper just to see how my flat line's going to come out, my shooting line's going to come out, my pattern. So that's basically what I'm doing, is setting my gun pressure and getting my pattern correct for what I want. And being that this is an engine bay, it's a little more tricky than just shooting a car, because you've got some tight angles that, to be honest with you, you know, you kind of want to shoot with a little pressure, a good bit of pressure. So you kind of got to play with the gun when you're in this engine bay, especially if you have it taped up the way I do. You know, if it's a blank canvas and there's nothing taped up at all, then go at it, by all means, shoot away. But in my case, in this situation, I'm kind of fighting the brake lines. I'm fighting the, you know, basically a master cylinder. I'm fighting all kind of tape I got going on, so I've got to kind of play with the pressure of the gun a bit and just get inside of my angles as best as I could. So that's the reason why you kind of see me go on the side, and I might even do it on the driver's side if I recall. But yeah, man, again guys, don't be afraid to tackle projects like this. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You'll mess up and you got to redo it again. It is what it is. It's part of the learning curve. Alright guys, went ahead and shot the base and then shot the clear. Here's what we look like. Now we're gonna let this sit overnight, and then come tomorrow I will start untaping Or I may just let it sit for a couple hours actually, because I hate when the tape sometimes gets stuck in the way. I might get that out the way a little bit. Actually, I'll be fine because that grommet will cover it. But there we go, guys. Y49, the curse. I didn't really hit this area too much with base because anything from like this half line on down, this half line area here on down, I'm gonna go ahead and just shoot like a flat black, or again probably like a coated black, so that it matches my wheel wells. As you can see, I didn't shoot the wheel wells. That's all on purpose, but engine bay looks great. Really happy with the results, especially being that this is home shot, man. You know, resurrected this one from the dead, literally. Had a big old hole in the firewall here. We got that nicely welded up. Shout out to Benji. And now we got ourselves a full-blown Y49. Only thing left that's black is actually the hatch. So we got to still paint the hatch. Let the neighbors go by. We still got to shoot the hatch. Y49. I'm gonna reshoot this bumper, which is a JDM front end. Gonna reshoot the hood, and I've got the rear bumper right here. So we're gonna start working on those next. Most likely, I'll probably do the. I'm probably gonna shoot the hatch and this bumper all at once, and I'll leave the front bumper and hood for last. But yeah, I think that's going to be the next thing that we'll be working on, will be the back bumper, hatch. Then we'll install those, and I'll be able to install the nice goodies I received. I bought some JDM tail lights. Sorry, so I got the JDM tail lights, got the JDM headlights to go with the JDM look. We're almost there, man. Progress. Some progress is better than no progress. I always tell myself, man, if I could do a little bit one day at a time, by the end of it, it will be done. I did that with my last CRX, and I'm doing it with this one as well. And it's gone to show that a little bit of progress will definitely become results in the long run. So really happy with this turnout, man. Once we put that motor back in, and again, guys, give me your feedback. You know, I'd like to, you know, tap in with you guys. Let me know what color the valve cover should be. Throw out some radical colors to me. I'm open to it. I'd love if we got somebody who knows how to do Photoshop. You could Photoshop a couple of valve cover colors to me inside of a Y49 bay. I'd love to see it. I've even thought of maybe doing the OEM black with maybe like some splattered yellow on it, just to, you know, do a little something different there. But overall, guys, you see it. You see it. And that's how I covered her up, man. Everything's turned off in the house, but we're about to kick the AC back on. Luckily, we're in Florida where it's about 70 degrees, 75 degrees out here right now, so it feels great. It's dry, perfect time to shoot. So hopefully in the next, I'd say in about maybe the next 2 weekends, I'm gonna knock out that hatch, that back bumper, and then we'll start installing also the gas cap. I might knock that out all at once. Should do that T-bracket. I've got the T-bracket over there. Should knock that out too. It's gonna be a lot of the little things after this, because now we're gonna install the fenders on. Of course, we're gonna, you know, shoot the wheel well first in black, then install the fenders. Those are done. I've got to touch up one fender. Again, guys, I want to be straightforward with y'all. I had like a little kink that I screwed up on, but that was a user error. I don't think it's that one. It's probably this one here. These are all dirty, which I don't mind the dust because that actually protects it for me. It might be that one. There's one fender. It's got like a tiny little itty bitty chip on it, which I'm gonna touch up eventually. You know, once it's all done, I'll probably just tape up the vehicle, look for my little knick-knack stuff that I need to touch up. I'll blend it, clear it, and then of course wet sand and buff it, and it'll blend right into the paint job. So, all right. Started reinstalling everything back into the engine bay here. Just bolting up a couple things. Got the fuel filter back on, and again, we have all new hardware from Resto Tuner. Shout out to Resto Tuner for the bolts. They definitely look great. Started lining up our fender bolts there. Not too worried about this area because the hood's gonna bolt up to it. As long as my backside looks good, that's what I'm concerned about. Went ahead and retouched up that plastic cover. Touched up the wiper cover as well. I'm gonna touch up this booster eventually in black as well. That'll probably be a weekend project to where I can tape up everything really well. And I definitely want to do that before I get this motor back in here. That way I have a good bit of space so that I could get in there and tape up properly. But that's the current stage where we're at. All new hardware, which is looking really sweet. Love it. Love it, love it, love it so far. Really happy with it. Just gonna go here. I gotta get this clip to hold the hood proper open. And that's our current stage. I still need to go ahead and wet sand the whole car down, which I'm gonna do a wet sand and buff. And I'll probably do the quarter panels pretty soon because I'm almost to the stage where, you know, once I do the hatch, reinstall the windshield, reinstall the quarter glass, I can deep clean that interior really well and start putting it back together. You know, I've got to get a couple pieces from Matt Duba. If you guys don't know who he is one of the CRX, he is the CRX Farm guy. So if you look up CRX Farm, you can find him on Facebook. And he's got tons and tons and tons of parts. So I need to order one little thing I have left that I need for the door panel before I install the passenger side panel. I already installed the driver's side door panel and quarter panel, but the passenger side is still kind of naked there a bit, but that's gonna get touched up soon. We did get around to installing the triangles. I made a video on how to properly remove these with a buddy of mine. So if you guys have any questions on how to remove them, feel free to hit me up, send me a message. I'll be happy to assist you. Yeah, man, and let's talk about that auction CRX. Whew. Cracked the 70K market, man. 70K. Crazy, 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 crazy. But you gotta love it. If you own a CRX, you gotta love it. You gotta love to see the market just boom like that, you know? It's really cool where it's going. I don't see it dropping, to be honest with you. I think these cars are getting less and less easier to find. In my opinion, they're pretty hard to find, and if you do find them, may God be with you, because they're usually clapped out. You know, or you may find one that you get lucky that's a good candidate for you to restore. Now, as far as what we have left to do, we've got the front bumper I need to touch up because this one came with the vehicle. So, well, came with the donor car. Sorry, this one came with the donor, which is a SIR front end. We've got the SIR hood, which I need to paint as well because I need it to match my color code of the Y49. I've got the rear bumper that I need to touch up. And of course we got the hatch. Kind of been leaving this one last because it's just a reminder of what this car actually looked like, the color. You know, it's crazy to see where it's at now when it actually came this nasty orange with crazy overspray and just a horrible paint job, man. Like, I hate it when somebody takes a job in, and imagine you going home and that's what you have when you open your hatch. Like, how are you happy with it? How are you even satisfied with that? How do you let that leave the shop? My thing is this: you want that hideous orange, make sure everything looks orange. Make sure everything is properly covered with the orange base. This is just lazy, man. And I don't get it because the door jambs were orange. The door jambs on this thing were orange. So why wasn't the hatch orange? It's freaking crazy, freaking nuts, man. Anyway, I'm over with my rant there, but come on, painters, y'all gotta do better than that. That's what gives a painter a bad rep. You know, I've had a couple people hitting me up too, like, hey Lou, what do you charge to paint? Would you take on a project? And honestly, guys, yes, I would take on a project. Another one for a subscriber, for a whoever. You know, I actually have one that is a potential lineup, which is a local buddy of mine who also has a CRX. So you guys may actually see another CRX on the channel in the near future. That one is going to be done in black from what I'm being told, or I think he wants to stick to the original OEM color, which is the black. So if we do get that one on the channel, you guys have some extended CRX coverage, and you know, I'll film everything. I'll film the process again, and I'll actually try to get a little better this time at filming. You know, I know I've gotten better as the time has gone with editing and things like that, but man, that stuff takes a long time. I just feel like I should just put a bunch of videos up for you guys, and here you go. Hopefully you guys sit through it. But I get how bad quality and how boring that is. And you know, I'm talking about painters and stuff, how they should be doing that. So I should be doing a much better job on doing my editing and quality like that. Some other guys have told me, oh man, you're gonna get overspray on everything. At the end of the day, I'm not really worried about that, because I am going to wet sand this car and polish it. I don't have overspray on it at the moment. It is very smooth, but still, I always cover it with plastic right before I'm about to shoot another panel or whatever I'm gonna do. But just so you guys can see there, man, that's out the gun, guys. I mean, she's dirty, of course, because I just been working on it in the garage, but she's hitting, man. The guys that have seen it in person, you guys know what it looks like. It looks amazing, especially for a garage house paint job. And I've said it over and over and over and over again. Do not cheap out on your products. Do not cheap out on your materials. It's all about the prep and the materials that you buy. You know, that's where you're going to get the quality. Material and prep. You got a good guy who can prep, you're going to have a good outcome. You buy good quality products, good quality paint, good quality clear, good quality primer, sealer, whatever stages you want to go through with that paint job. You buy quality stuff, you're going to get a quality outcome. I do need to do this sunroof also. That is from the donor. This sunroof is from the donor car. As you can see, it's a slight bit tone, a different yellow there. You can see it perfect there. That's trying to see if I can catch like a real natural look of the color of this car, man, in person here. But that's probably, let's see, I think I had a slight, it's probably about as natural as it's getting right there. Barbados yellow, but still, I need to do the sunroof. I need to mess with it a little bit. I need to learn how to align it properly. But that's it, guys. Hopefully the next update is going to be with the B16 reinstalled. Here's what the B16 looks like. Did a pretty good job cleaning it. You know, I used the Gurot degreaser, and that thing did the job. I am really happy with how the outcome of the B16 came out. I am going to touch up some of these brackets here in black. Like that one there is going to get taken off. This one's going to get taken off. I'm going to sand that down and spray them in black before reinstalling the motor. But yeah, that's where we're at. And the motor will be installed by El Bello Performance. He's local here in the Kissimmee area, specializes in anything Honda really, but he loves his K-swaps. You know, so if you are looking for a K-swap, he's definitely a guy you should reach out to. You can find him on Instagram, El Bello Performance. And yeah, I will definitely record when we're reinstalling the B16. And I'll let him give his shout out if you guys ever want to reach out to him. Again, he is El Bello Performance on Instagram. But with that being said, guys,